Hey everybody, thank you for watching Aim for Survival. Today we're going to be talking about the Gerber Freeman. Stay tuned. Okay guys, in our quest to find budget gear, we've stumbled across quite a few knives, and this one is definitely an option you may have seen. Is the Gerber Freeman. Comes in a terrible nylon sheath. Does have a flare at the top. I'm not fond of nylon sheaths for any knife. However, let's go ahead and point out some of the good features on this. It does have a plastic liner which will protect it. You have a terrible sorry, I'm really getting them on this sheath, guys, but it has a single nylon belt loop and I'm not impressed with it at all. Okay, now let's talk about the knife itself. You do have an 8.4 overall length, full tang or fixed blade knife. It has a powder coat on top of a 5 CR15 MOV steel, which puts it in the stainless category. That can be useful especially around humid environments or the waterway as far as kayaking and stuff. Some of my high carbon steel knives have done well but required a lot of extra attention. If you're on a budget category or possibly you're building a kit for a young kid, you might not want to leave that responsibility on them. So a stainless steel is definitely a good option. The scales on here are a rubberized, checker gripped, dual-sided scale system held together with a hex screw, dual hex screw I should say. It does have a large lanyard hole at the bottom. Overall the blade length is 4 inches. It is a drop point, which is something I am actually very fond of. Notice it does have very pronounced finger grip grooves. And for my large hands, surprisingly, this does feel pretty good. Out of the box, hair popping sharp. I got to give it to Gerber on that one, guys. However, we're going to test its metal and see if it's worth the $20 that we gave for it. I hear you can also find it for less than $25 on Amazon. Without further ado, let's get to the test. Okay, here we are at the stump, guys. Everybody's going to want to know, will this little knife baton? Well, we'll find out right now. Now, as this is only a 4-inch cutting surface, my first test will be probably about 1.5 to 2 inch diameter. Plowed right through a small sapling. I know a lot of people are against batoning a knife. However, as it has been raining here for 2 or 3 days, the outside of this wood is a little moist, yet the insides are still dry. Okay, so it has made quick work. Looking at the edge, I do not see any major damage, although I do see small ripples. Nothing that we can't take care of later. Let's see if it'll do any feather work. Take this down just a little further. When I feather, I do tend to prefer a real small piece. This aids in making those real fine small curls. So we definitely see it can feather, guys. Making real quick work. Let's see if it can process material. I find that is a more efficient way to use your time. We're using another piece of moderately wet cedar, however, just below the outer layer it will be dry. Just feeling this knife, I can tell you now it does not have a sharp 90-degree spine. However, it may still process tinder pretty well. As you can tell, it has produced nice wispy material. In this case, while it's wet, it could be laid out in the sun to dry. Now, as I've just mentioned, the Gerber Freeman does not have a sharp 90-degree spine on it. However, we're going to see if it can do a basic ferro rod strike. I'd say not at all, guys, and I'm not going to waste my ferro rod trying. Okay, continuing on about the Gerber Freeman and its fire starting, at least with a ferro rod's capability, I'm going to have to say it's very problematic. Definitely going to take a metal rasp. I have tried a small file on a cheap multi-tool. I have tried grinding it against a stone and still have not produced what I'd call an adequate spark. So I definitely want to say it's failed the spine test. However, just in front or just before the cutting surface is a small cutout. Using this area right here, we're going to ignite a cotton ball. You can definitely get the job done. Just be aware of this and mod the tool beforehand. You should do just fine, guys. As you can tell, we can light really good tinder. However, stubborn tinder would probably be a problem. Okay, let's perform some of the tests pretty well, guys. Let's see if it can still do some notch work. We're going to start with an L7. So far it's doing pretty good. This is your standard L7, definitely useful in trap trigger making and camp construction. Repeating this process on the other side. Definitely note that the curve on this is exceptional. However, all parts of the blade were useful. Cleaning up our work just a little bit. We have our log cabin notch, useful in shelter construction. Now we're going to make us a pot hanger notch. Okay, we do have a fairly decent pot hanger notch. Before we give our conclusions on this knife, I do want to do a tip test. This stump is a very seasoned hardwood. Just on general prying, it didn't snap off immediately. Okay, there it went, guys. By all means, a tip test is an abuse on the knife. The drop point design did fail on this knife. However, with a grinder, we can make it a useful tool once again. That 5CR, 15 MOV still, definitely had an issue at the end. Okay everybody, so let's recap real quick. We were looking at the Gerber Freeman, a $20 knife, guys. It is a hunter's knife with the rubberized scales. It'd definitely be good for meat processing or in the rain. It handled up to batoning, followed by carving task. It did very good on that. It was able to process material. However, the powder coat and the lack of 90-degree spine on the back made it hard to hit a ferro rod. Just before the blade is a small cutout. This right there, definitely useful for hitting that fire still. Although stubborn tinder will be an issue, you'll want good tinder using this knife. It handled all the tasks until the tip test. Guys, no big deal. We can grind this off, make more of a bushcraft profile on this blade anyways. I'll definitely, if I were to give this 10 stars as a survival knife, as my life depends on this knife, I'm guessing probably about 3 out of 10 stars. Probably a poor way to put it. But guys, it could get you through. Any knife can be a survival knife in the right hands. Don't abuse your blades. This is why. If you're going to buy budget gear, you're going to have budget issues. Everybody, I'd like to thank you again for watching this Aim for Survival review of the Gerber Freeman. Again, this is a $20 knife you can find at Walmart, or less than $25 on Amazon. If you haven't already, smash your like button, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and as always, when you aim for survival, don't miss.